Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Everything NYJ. I am one of your co-hosts, Gino.
I am Liam. What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are all happy, safe, and well. I hope everybody can hear us okay. We've been going through a couple little early technical difficulties with our audio and everything, so we're trying out some new headphones tonight. Let us know how we sound. I thank you guys for bearing with us over these last couple weeks while we're trying to figure it all out. But
Right.
Gina, how you doing, man?
Uh, it's a long week. My wife's birthday is tomorrow, so we're getting ready for that. And
Happy birthday.
yeah, thank you. My wife, love you. And then just getting ready for the Jets, man. I love Flight 22. That was such a good series that the Jets did. And then just getting ready for our podcast to go bigger and better. I love it.
Absolutely. So we have some original content for you guys, but before we get into the video, I just wanted to mention you could follow us on all social media platforms. We have Facebook under Gino Antonio Pagano. Add him, follow him. Um, Follow us on Twitter at everythingnyj. Follow us on Instagram at underscore everythingnyj. We're posting daily content. We always have something coming out for you guys. We love to interact with you guys. And if you guys do like the video that we're going to be presenting for you guys, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue to grow our channel and become one of the top podcasts. That's our goal, man. Every week I say it. We're just trying to interact with the fans. That's what we're all here for.
Amen. Amen. And get guests on here soon too.
Absolutely. If you guys are interested in coming on to the podcast, just DM us or tweet us, hit us up on Instagram, wherever, man. We'll see it eventually. We'll get you guys on. Comment below. I don't care what you guys do. Um, just yeah,
Right.
man. Just let us know if you want to come on. We're interested in having plenty of guests on, man. We want to talk to you guys. So before we get really into it, I just wanted to say rest in peace to Jalen Ferguson from the Ravens. uh, Tragic. I'm not sure the details of it, but just send prayers out to his family, and also Tony Saragusa. Um, it's just completely sad, man. Rest in peace to those guys. Um, so yeah, Flight 2022 has been out. 5 episodes. Gina, what are you thinking about it so far?
You know what? I've been waiting for this for a year. I love what they do every year with the Jets when it comes to the series like that. Sometimes it could be a six-part series, sometimes it could be a five. I was especially really happy with this one this year just because of how we did in the draft and what we did in free agency. And I could just tell the culture is just changing. And I think the fact that um, what Joe Douglas has done and Sal has done, the behind the scenes on getting Johnson moving up to go get him, and then all of a sudden with free agency, what we did with Conklin and CJ, and how I'm comparing with the Reed and Gardner, possibly a top duo in our division, maybe the NFL, maybe you just never know. But they remind each other like each other. That's what they're saying, and I love all that behind the scenes stuff. That's always been amazing, especially the draft process with Sauce, and then with Clemens and Mitchell and Johnson, and then getting Brees Hall was such a surprise pick. It's just I love seeing all that. And I think, and I said this before, I'm going to say it again. It's the culture. You can just tell the culture is changing, and that's as for Jets fans like us, that's what you want to see in a series. You don't want to see drama. You don't want to see drama with coaches. And you don't want to see drama with everything else. That's what I didn't see anything like this. A few years ago, yeah, I would have said, okay, this is just not. Yeah, I'm not pumped up about this. But this year, seeing what they did in this five-part series, I'm pumped as heck.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. My favorite episode was the fourth episode, and they're talking about Jermaine Johnson, and he goes up to Joe Douglas and he says, "Trade up to get me."
Yeah, get me, baby.
Oh, that just pumped me up, man. You could just tell that these are high energy guys. And when somebody when a rookie player says, trade up to get me, that shows
Exactly.
that they want to be with this team, that they see a clear vision for this team. They see a future
Right.
being a
Agreed.
Jet.
Agreed.
And it's refreshing, man. That's the best
Oh,
word I could describe it as refreshing. And it's just like you said, to kind of piggyback off of you, it's just kind of cool to see all the behind the scenes stuff, and to to, to hear from Robert Sala in his office, to hear from Mike LaFleur, to hear from Rex Hogan. The list goes on and
right.
on. It's just super
Right.
cool to see like a behind the scenes how all this transpired, how all this went down. you're talking to, you get to hear from all the rookies and everything. I just think it's really cool, man.
Yeah, and also just, seeing the scouts playing a big role, you can see
Yep.
how much it affects their families too. I mean, we saw a couple scouts when they did some family shots and stuff, and that's what I mean, it's a sacrifice being in the NFL and being a
Oh,
coach and scout. It takes everything, and putting that on your significant other and kids, it's a lot, especially when it comes to Joe Douglas, Saleh. Saleh even said I was hearing the Rich Eisen show the other day, and Saleh wasn't even moved all in New Jersey, and now him and his family finally moved all in, and now they're good to go, and it's like you just don't see that. It's
right,
cool
right.
that it's cool to see, like, where they're all coming from and who's all together. And I think it's pretty cool how they went behind the scenes when it comes to Joe Douglas's history, being a GM with the Ravens, and then being a
Yeah,
GM
with
with the Bears and also with the Eagles. And he already won 2 or 3 Super Bowls already, and that's what you want
yeah,
to hear. And Salah's been
yeah,
to the
Ozzie
Super Bowl a
Newsome.
few times, yeah. And
Yep.
Salah's been to the Super Bowl a few times too. It's good that to get those kind of stuff and seeing the behind the scenes with that.
Yeah, I remember with Salah, it was some point I think it was early during last season. He was having repairs done at his house, and like a fire broke out or something happened, and like him and
Right.
his family was living in a hotel, and he has like 5 kids. He has like the grandma's living with. He has a big
6, I
family.
think. Yeah, 5 or
So
6
yeah,
kids. Yeah.
it's up there, whatever it is. But it was really cool, getting to see like the behind the scenes, especially like with Rex Hogan. They were talking to his wife, and his wife was saying that, like their kids are in like lacrosse and everything, and he's not going to be there, but the kids still have to get put on the bus, and it's like you said, it's a lot on on their wives, on their significant other. They really have to step up and be a mother and a father because
Right.
these guys, it takes. You can't half-ass it. You got to be 100% committed to it. You're seeing LaFleur's family, he spends as much quality time with his kids as he can because he's not there during the season a lot. It's cool
Right.
because you really get to see the human aspect of it. You get to see the family man aspect that you don't normally get to see, which I just think is amazing, like you said.
No, for sure. I mean, it's huge, especially what the players go through, and how much
Yeah.
they don't even get a break either.
It's all the stuff that we just turn them on Sunday afternoons and then need to see them, but you don't see like and then we go about win or lose, we go upon our day. But you don't see like the travel, you don't see everything that all the behind the scenes stuff that you normally don't get to see. You're seeing the human aspect of it, and I just think it's pretty cool, man.
I agree. It's one of those things where when it comes down to it, especially if it doesn't matter if you're a scout or coach or player, everyone contributes something. And that's what Joe Douglas, you could see in the second, third, and fourth episode, how much he just appreciates everyone. And I know every GM and owner, with any team, they're always going to say that. Like it's not just the Jets. I think it's for me with Joe Douglas. Like you could tell he's exhausted. You could tell he's
Oh,
exhausted
absolutely.
from the Jets the last 3 years, and you can tell that all that energy in the draft and just in free agency and how much is just coming together now. Like
Absolutely.
it's finally coming together, and you could tell even in the room, the scouting room and everything else. It's nice. It's super nice.
Absolutely. You see the scouts, that's a year-long job. And I really
Right.
like the approach like the new approach that they've had these last couple of years. I think it's like Joe Douglas's theory where they talk about all the players that, in the draft and everything, but they kind of just like write down like who they like, and then they have like one big meeting, and it was like Gino, like what do you think, and like what do you think, and who
Right.
do you have, and then they kind of put together a plan, and they all get to explain why they like this player. He's a good locker room guy. He sheds off linemen good or whatever it is. Um, they really talk about each player's strengths and a couple weaknesses if they have any weaknesses,
Right.
and that's kind of like what determines. And I think a lot of that, because of all the hard work that they're putting in, like the scouting department, I think that's why they got an A+ draft this year.
Oh, agreed, 100%. And also when it comes to the running back game, Michael Carr's pumped up about Brees Hall, and
Absolutely.
just with the tight ends as well. with CJ, and they're welcoming Jeremy Ricker right there and then too, and it's
Yep.
cool seeing the hometown talent come back. It's super nice. I love that kind of stuff. And then
Absolutely.
and then also it's cool that Lawson and Clemens and Curry, seeing them interact um with Clemens and Johnson, and seeing them how it's totally different. And just like with Quentin Williams and his brother, um,
Yep.
they were saying we're not one up in each other. We're not. We're all family here. Garrett Wilson was very outspoken about that too. We're all family here. We don't one up. We want to help each other, and that's what I saw behind the scenes too. And it was lovely. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, because obviously, Joe Douglas even said, and like that's a big part of that's a big factor when it comes to drafting a player, I should say, is how they are in the locker room. This isn't even like with the Rex Jets. I remember they had the joint practice with the Redskins, and a freaking brawl broke out.
Right. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, that 2010, I think that was, and Santonio Holmes is saying, I like to be on the bottom because you get the good shots in, Obviously, some people like the fights in practice. I'm not a fan of fights in practice, man. Like,
I'm not
it's
either. Yeah.
it's outside drama. The Jets, the bad stigma that we have, we don't need any more outside drama. So I think that they're trying to draft these high class, personality guys, these high character guys, as Joe Douglas would put it,
Yeah.
and they want stability in the locker room. They want you to be, a decent head on your shoulders, not getting in trouble. And that's really all you could ask, in the off season. Just make it to the season, everybody healthy. They don't want guys with injury history, and just staying out of trouble. That's really the big thing. But the news today, I saw that Breece Hall apparently is going to be the starting running back right now.
Yes, I heard that too, and I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I think it's a great. You know what he reminds me of, honestly, is Jonathan Taylor. He kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of Jonathan Taylor a little bit, and I'm getting off topic, but I think I I'm up and down about it because I really love Michael Carter. I am such
Hmm.
a huge Michael Carter fan, and
Right.
I love the 1-2 punch. We're good. Like I get that, but like I think Michael Carter should be the starter and Breece Hall should be the backup. But I understand because how Hall is so versatile when it comes to being a starter, and I know Michael Carter's the down yard guy could be the front guy for that. Like I get that, but I
Right.
don't know. I don't know. I want them both to do well, and I want them to be the great ones who punch the Jets have been missing for years, ever since
Yep.
The Tomlinson and Green days. So
Yep.
I'm up and down. I'm up and down
Yeah, that
about
was
it.
that was a three-headed monster. Yeah, LaDainian Tomlinson, Sean Green, and Thomas Jones. We're really
Whew,
missing that.
yeah.
Good old days. Good old
Oh my
days, man.
goodness,
But
it was great.
yeah, I mean, for all we know, they might do some two running back sets. Like that's when the Jets had Frank Gore and Le'Veon Bell. That's kind of what I wanted, especially at that time because the Jets were kind of like short staffed at wide receiver. I was thinking maybe have Frank Gore as the running back and use Le'Veon Bell kind of like a wide receiver. Maybe they do some of that this year too.
Say that last part again.
I was saying that maybe that they when the Jets had Frank Gore and Le'Veon Bell, um,
Oh yeah,
they
you would
used
think.
I wanted them to use Frank Gore as like the main running back and have Le'Veon Bell kind of like a wide receiver. So maybe they kind of do the same thing with that. Michael Carter, he's caught a couple passes out of the backfield this year. Maybe they do something like that again this year. Who knows?
True.
Michael LaFleur is an offensive maniac. Nothing that you don't know what kind of tricks he has up his sleeves. He's doing
Right.
ending arounds. He's doing hooks. He's doing flies. He's doing all these kind of crazy things. You don't know what this
Right.
guy's gonna come up with. Whatever they decide to do, I trust Mike LaFleur, and I think that whatever it is that they're doing, I think it's going to be successful.
I agree with you 100%. And we still got Tevin Coleman, and I'm really
Ty
interested to see what they.
Johnson,
I'm interested in what they see with Coleman and Johnson. I really like them a lot, especially what they did last year. I know Coleman was injured, but I like the veteran presence Coleman brings, and you
right.
could see when he was Michael Carter was mic'd up too, And
Yes, yes.
I mean, he's saying, Coleman's like my for real, my big brother. Like, you want to hear that? Yeah,
Brees the Beast.
I want to hear that. I love all the nicknames going around. I don't know all of them yet, but I love it all. I love all the nicknames.
Absolutely, man. Um, so to switch topics a little bit, you have anything else you want to say about that, or?
I'm good to go. I love to answer Truman's question. Truman, thank you, brother. Appreciate your question.
Truman, every week he's on here. Appreciate you, man.
So, so he says now that Pittsburgh Steelers signed, I don't really know his last name very well, but who is the best free agent ready to take flight? Love the take flight part. Um, I know everyone keeps talking about Alexander.
Yeah, Quan Alexander. Yep.
I know people keep talking about him, that they want him now that this guy is out. Um, I really want to see a trade for a linebacker, or
Okay.
when it comes to minicamp coming up, see who's cuts, who's gonna be cut and who's gonna be like coming during training camp. That's what
Yeah.
I want to see happen, because we do need a linebacker and we do need an O lineman. But for me, I feel like if you're gonna go a linebacker position, like the Geno that my stick for Geno right now, I'm gonna go with Alexander, because he knows Salah's system, he knows who he is, he knows the defense. I think that was our best bet for now. But I don't really want to make a prediction until training camp, because training camp, and especially with the next couple months, you just don't know what's going to happen with any
Absolutely.
cuts. Because everything has been such a up in the hill with the NFL lately when it comes to people right now.
I agree 100%. And, a couple, like you said, a couple surprise guys always shake free, during when they cut down the roster, down to 90 and then down to 53. There's always a couple surprise cuts. We haven't had much talent on the Jets these last couple of years, so nobody's really surprised us. But
Right.
around the league, and I think that we're going to start to see some players, some prominent players start, they can't even talk right now. They're going to want to come here. I feel myself just like rambling, and I'm like, I'm not even speaking English right now. Um, yeah, I made a video maybe about a month ago about Quan Alexander, and like I said, not to saying that like I'd be upset if we have him, and like I don't even not want him. I wouldn't mind if he came here. It's just he's got to be like on his last legs. He's getting older. I wouldn't mind him as like a 1 year guy, and then maybe like a dressing linebacker in the draft next year.
That's what I'm
But
thinking too. Yes.
absolutely.
Agreed.
And then maybe Reef from Cincinnati. We need some offensive line help. Maybe get some depth there.
Agreed. Or Fleming from the Broncos. I would
Yeah,
love
yep,
that
from the
Fleming
Broncos as well.
And then we got that
Absolutely.
guy. And then we got that guy from the Eagles already. I love that move. Such a great
Yep.
move.
Yep. And then maybe like even like you said, Terry, the guy from Washington that you're big on.
Terry McLaurin, front wide receiver.
Yeah, McLaurin.
Man, if we got him, I don't know if it's gonna happen. I really doubt it, but like that would complete our offense.
Absolutely.
Complete our offense. I know everyone's pumped up about Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, and I am too. I love it, but I'm still up and down about Corey Davis. I shouldn't say up and down. Like I love Corey Davis for a long time, but like I know he's coming off injury. I know he's got that great one-on-one presence with Zack Wilson. But man, if you could bring a guy like Terry McLaurin in and fit him in with Moore and Wilson and Barrios, and I would, oof, man, that would be interesting.
That would be interesting because I know that Sawa on defense, he likes to switch out the linemen. They play about 60% of the snaps to keep everybody fresh. Maybe they would start doing that with a couple wide receivers as too. That's actually not a bad idea.
And also, like, I'm pumped up about Joyner. I'm pumped up about Ashton Davis. And Pinnock. I think those guys are very well suited for a safety position. I know Bates is available.
Absolutely.
But you never know.
Absolutely. So, since it is kind of the dead period of the NFL, there's really not a whole lot of news, coming out. The big news, I guess, was Breece Hall. Apparently he's going to be the starter. We're not even in training camp, but we know who the starters are. I don't believe in any of that. But so there's something kind of fun that I wanted to do. I want to talk about the top 5 offensive players on the Jets that need to have a breakout year. How does that sound to you, Gino?
Sounds good to me.
And this is in no specific order, but I'll name off, 5 players, and I'll have, I'll you speak on them. I'll have you speak on them. If anybody in the comments wants to jump in, we'll interact a little bit. But like I said, no specific order. This isn't like one player, compared to another. But I think there are certain players that need to step up more than other players. Um, Starting off with Denzel Mims.
Agreed.
I think he needs to come back, just like a man on a mission. This is kind of regurging, what we've been saying the last couple of weeks. Not, he's obviously apparently in the best shape of his life right now, but he was getting passed on the depth chart. I think that he needs to break out. He needs to have a huge year. He needs to go into training camp and no screwing around anymore. No eating bad fish. No getting sick. No injuries. Obviously, you can't control a lot of that, but
Yeah, you
he
can't
has to do
control all that.
he has to do everything in his power to stay healthy. And
Right.
because even when he was healthy, he was falling behind on the playbook. The coaching staff was expecting a lot from him. And a couple years ago, he was a second round draft pick. As a second round draft pick, you're gonna have that responsibility. The coaching staff is leaning on you to be a prominent piece of the offense. Whether Salah's regime drafted him, Joe Douglas drafted him. He's still a Joe Douglas guy. I think if maybe that was like a Mike McCagnon guy, I think he would have been out of here by now. I think the Jets are, giving him one last year. Apparently, they love him. They're calling him Mimsy and everything.
Right.
And I saw when Mike LaFleur was mic'd up, he was really excited. He was talking about him and everything. So,
Right.
what do you think about Denzel Mims? I know you're very opinionated on him.
I'm rooting for him. I think everyone is rooting for him. I don't think people have really given up on him yet, but I think it's going to come close after training camp to see what he's really made of. I know people are excited about him and the way he looks. He's faster, he's stronger, he's certainly built better.
Absolutely.
But I think right now it's just a toss up. If he's going to be here by the season or not. Like I said, I'm rooting for him, but he definitely needs a breakout year if he wants to be on this team this year or next year.
Absolutely. If he's not up to par with the rest of the offense, with the rest of the wide receivers, he might, like you said, he might not even be on the team come opening day.
True.
And with guys like Garrett Wilson, and they have Jeff Smith. There's guys that could potentially
Jeff
pass him.
Smith. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the second guy I want to get into is, he's full of controversy. A lot of people love him, and a lot of people hate him for whatever reason it is.
Yeah.
Mekhi Becton.
Yeah. I. I think he loves the controversy though. So I mean, go. I
He
mean,
feeds into it.
I like those kind of guys. I know people don't like those kind of guys, but I love those kind of guys. I love those
You
kind
said
of guys, and I think overall he's gonna try everything in his power to make this team. And I know it's gonna be very hard. I know whoever we bring in from now until training camp and preseason and stuff, what we're gonna be, especially if Reef and Fleming comes into play or whoever gets cut. I think Becton needs a strong training camp to make this team. And honestly, Salah and Joe Douglas um, are really big on him, and they have a
yeah.
lot of faith in him.
I think a lot of it was just the Jets. I think the Jets screwed up the injury. I think that's what really started all of this. Mekhi Becton, he's never come out and said how long his injury was going to last. That was the Jets saying 4 to 6 weeks, and then it was 8 weeks, and then it was 12, and then you know OTA started. He's still not there, which is I'm perfectly fine with. He had a baby.
Right.
His baby is almost 1 month. You understand. You got to be there for your family. It's optional workouts. I'm sure he's been working out, but I think what kind of concerned a lot of people was when he came back and him and Coach Salah both, they wouldn't say how much he weighed. So I really feel like
Yeah.
in Salah's eyes, like he's not where they want him to be, but he has about another month, 40 days to get in tip-top shape to prove that he wants to be on this team. I don't think that, this year is a make or break year for him, but I think he definitely needs to have a breakout year and prove he needs to prove all the haters wrong. He needs to prove I belong on this team. It was a freak injury. GVR stupid ass like rolled on my ankle. That's not on Mekhi Becton.
Right.
But it was a freak injury. But he's had the freak injuries in the past. He has
Right.
the injury history. coming out of college, some people didn't want him because he was smoking weed. He got caught with that, So he's had some controversy around him these last couple of years. I think that he needs to prove why he was a first round draft pick a couple years ago.
And I'm rooting for him, and I wish him the best of luck.
Absolutely. So next up on the list is Corey Davis. Obviously he had a couple injuries last year. He was actually on pace for 1,000-yard season,
I
but he's had
know.
yeah. So that'd be nice, right? I can't remember the last Jet player that had 1,000 yards. I think it was Brandon Marshall. I could be wrong on that though.
We could be wrong on that, but I remember. I think he's one of them.
I think it was Brandon Marshall in 2015.
I agree. I think Corey Davis, he was a stud for the Titans, and he had his moments where he was up and down, but overall he was pretty steady. I feel like I just know that they had some quarterback issues, so I don't know. I hope. I mean, he's got a great connection with Zack Wilson, and I'm a fan of Davis. I hope he does well, and I think he needs a bounce back year because the money we're paying him, he will not be a Jet next year if he doesn't do good this year.
Absolutely. He had way too many drops, like for every touchdown he has had 3 drops to go along with it. And there are a lot of crucial, drives. And like you said, Zack Wilson as a rookie quarterback, you need to find that he needs to find his guy that he could, and I think he's kind of been replaced by Braxton Barrios a little bit as Zack Wilson's favorite guy, early on in the season,
Agreed.
you need for a rookie quarterback, you need that trust that you could have a guy going, deep downfield. Zack Wilson's pointing in that Tennessee Titan game, go down, go, because he trusts Corey Davis. But for a lot of us, we turned away. I know I did. I was like, oh shoot, because you don't know if he's going to drop that ball or not. You don't know if he's going to drop it. It's scary, and it just seems like as the season went on, before he got injured, he kind of got in his own head a little bit more. And the last thing you want is, if you have a ball coming to you, 30 yards downfield, you don't want to be thinking to yourself, oh my God, am I going to drop this ball or not? You got to have that confidence. And I think you get that with reps. If he has a good training camp and he's catching everything that Zach's throwing at him, then he might have that little, he might have that confidence to say, I know where this ball is going to go. I have a better connection with Zack Wilson than I did last year. Because you saw them in the preseason games, they were tight. And
agreed.
I just think, like when they're going downfield, you need to have that confidence. I'm going to catch this ball no matter what.
Oh, for sure. And
absolutely.
That's the thing about a deep threat like Davis. He shouldn't be afraid to go up and get those big balls because that's what we brought him in. Is to be the number 1 wide receiver. That's what we brought him in to do. And now I think it's one of those things where it's going to be up to him to be that number 1 guy, or is Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson just going to take it over? Because we all know what Barrios is capable of with Wilson. That's not an issue whatsoever.
Absolutely. And actually, speaking of Braxton Barrios, he was the next up on my top 5 list because he is the prime example of somebody that earned a contract, but now that we paid him this big money, we don't want him to pull a Muhammad Wilkerson, and completely disappear. We finally paid him.
Oh, man.
We paid him, and he, obviously because he earned the contract, but now that he has his contract, we can't have him slacking off this year. He needs to prove why he earned that contract and continue to prove it. He's kind of set the bar for himself, and I think he's done everything right. He doesn't complain. He just shows up. A lot of people didn't like him in 2020, believe it or not. Sam Darnold's last year. And I don't want to be the I told you so guy because I'm not like that, but if nobody's going to do it. But if somebody digs deep into my Twitter from like 2 years ago on the Everything NYJ account, you'll find I tweeted out I like Braxton Barrios a lot more than a lot of other people. And a lot of people started to agree. And he's been a prominent player for this offense. Obviously he's never really had the chance to start until somebody's gotten injured, but he's everything that you want in a backup. He's reliable. He's a great depth guy. He's a great locker room guy, great character guy. The Jets brought him in off of waivers, and he really stepped up last year. The game that sticks out to me the most is the Tampa Bay Buccaneer game.
Right, I agree, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, yep. He's reliable, and I think he's actually becoming Zack Wilson's favorite target this year, or last year, I should say. And you see them always hanging out this year. They have the Braxton Barrios is good, the Zack Wilson is good shirts.
Oh,
which whatever, man. It's fun. It's fun.
Fun. I love it. Oh, I love it.
Exactly. I'm rooting for Braxton Barrios. He's, one of my candidates is like one of my favorite Jets actually. It's cool to see somebody like that. And the best part is we got him off the freaking Patriots.
Oh, I was just happy. I'm so happy you mentioned that. It's like Curtis Martin, Ty Law, all over
Yep.
again, and Damian
Absolutely.
Woody.
Absolutely. And then last up on the list, obviously not a make or break year for him. ZW quarterback Zack Wilson.
Shoot, honestly, I'm kind of
He
sick and
needs to
tired.
have a breakout.
I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing him, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
I'm annoyed now, honestly, because like we all know what Zach needs to do. We all know what Joe brought him in here to do. We all know Salah loves him. It's like, okay, we see it in practice. We're gonna see it in preseason. We'll see it this year. It is up to him, but also I'm 50-50 worried about it, not worried about it, because we got the pieces around him for him to do well. It's up to him, but also we got to have an old lineman to protect him. If we don't have an old lineman to protect him, it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but someone's got to protect him. And I think getting a guy like Fleming and Reef and cutting GVR was a great decision. I just think
Absolutely.
it's strictly and utterly up to him now.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. You're 50-50 worried about him because he has the pieces around him. But if he has the pieces around him and he kind of starts like last year, going into this season, then
Yeah.
we're all going to be probably like 75-90% worried about him. I'm going to be one of them too. Right now, everything is good with the Jets. There's no reason to panic about everything.
Right.
He's in OTAs and in mandatory minicamp. He's doing all the right things. He was like 12 for 30, 8 out of whatever the stats were, 10 out of 13,
Right.
something like that.
Right.
I don't know them off the top of my head. But like this is nothing new that we've been saying, but this year is going to be a telling year for him because he's young, he has the experience in the system, he knows
Right.
the playbook, he's going to continue to master the playbook, he has the talent around him. Now we're going to finally see what this offense is. Nobody's getting a pass this year. If the team isn't up to par where we think that they should be or where the NFL really thinks they should be, it's not really up to us. But if they're getting blown out by halftime or anything, then yes, Salah's head's going to be on the chopping block. And LaFleur's head, as great as LaFleur's been, if the offense is not rocking and rolling, then people are going to look. Maybe you had one good year. We don't need the drama, and I'm not here to start any nonsense or anything. I'm just saying he needs to have he needs to come out building off of what he ended on last year. That's all I'm trying to say.
I agree, and I think at the end of the day, I think I hate the phrase "same old Jets." It's so annoying with that. But at the same time, on Flight 22, seeing the behind the scenes what Zach's been doing with his nutritionist and seeing the film he's watching at his house, it's very comforting to see that. And the people are going to talk in New York whether it's good or bad. I mean, it's the Jets, it's the Giants too. I mean, it's that New York is hungry for a championship, especially with the Jets. I don't think it just like what Adam Schefter. I actually appreciate Adam Schefter more now than I did seeing him on Flight 22. And now he's from Long Island, and he said he wouldn't mean more a championship to come to New York. And oh my gosh, he's 100% correct.
We are the greatest fan base in all of the NFL, and I honestly believe that. We're the most passionate fan base. We're the most outspoken fan base.
Right.
And there's a lot of great fan bases out there. We're definitely at the top of that list, though, man, because we haven't won jack, crap. And
since Namath won.
Oh, look at that! He has the ring.
Since Namath won.
You've been probably trying to get that onto the podcast for weeks now. I appreciate you doing that, man. That's awesome. That's cool, man. This guy right here, he's a history junkie, man.
I try, but I want to answer Truman's question about who's the biggest sleeper and underrated player on the New York Jets. And you know what? My pick, and we'll come to you too, Liam, about who you can answer that. I think the biggest sleeper and underrated player on the Jets is Michael Carter. I think
you think Michael Carter?
Michael Carter is such a beast, and I think people are starting to see. Oh, Breece Hall, they're on the Breece Hall bandwagon, and they should be. But
Yeah.
to me, Michael Carter, what you've seen last year, he has gotten us out of so many holes last season, with drives, and I think he's a sleeper and he's underrated.
I agree with that. That's a fair pick. Um, Possibly Bryce Hall as well. I don't think
Yeah,
Bryce Hall ever gets the credit at cornerback position that he deserves. And
and especially with the trading block, like people are saying, he might be on the trading block now, and I don't like that.
yeah, I don't want to get rid of Bryce Hall. I like him. I think him and Sauce on the outsides, I think they'll be a dominant force to be reckoned with. I just feel like he doesn't really ever get the respect he deserved. That's because the defense was god awful. But
Hmm.
but yeah, I'd probably go with Bryce Hall to answer Truman's question. I like the Michael Carter answer too. That's a very good answer. And like I said, I think he's gonna have a. I didn't list him in my top five because I don't think he must have a breakout year. But I think for the most part, he's gonna have to have a big year as well. All these rookies from last year, the youth needs to start, showing up. The cream always rises to the top, as they say. And I think we're gonna see who the foundational pieces, who the building blocks of the future are this year. I think this is gonna be a very telling year.
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for episode 29 of the Everything NYJ podcast. Gino, do you have any exiting words? Any last words?
Appreciate our followers in Cuba and Germany and Europe and all over the United States. Truman, we appreciate your brother. Just keep
Absolutely.
commenting. Keep commenting. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just keep hitting us up. We just appreciate it, everyone, and we have a bunch of stuff coming up that you'll be really happy with, and we can't wait. We can't wait.
Absolutely, I agree 100%. Truman, thank you for always commenting. Thank you for being with us as we've been going live. Your support does not go unnoticed. We appreciate it, man. And that doesn't just go for Truman. That goes for everybody that's tuning in live, everybody commenting on our videos, everybody watching us, sharing the videos, anybody helping us out, man. We appreciate it all. We really do. Obviously, we're not the biggest, podcast on YouTube right now, but our goal is to be one day. We'll be up there, man.
Amen.
And we're just gonna stay true to ourselves, but it's the boring time of the NFL. We're not gonna bore you with any boring stories or anything like that. There's a little bit of news here and there, but a lot of it's just hearsay. Training camp hasn't even started. There's really nothing to even talk about until training camp has started. But we're here for you guys as always. If anything does happen that's crazy, we'll let you guys know like we always do. And before I head out, like I said at the beginning, if you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. If you're interested in coming on to the podcast, we're pretty flexible. We'll try to find a day that works for all of us. We'll have you on. We'll talk to you. We'll interview you guys. We want to hear from all you guys, man. So thank you guys for watching as always. Go Jets, baby. Have a good night, man.
Woo! You too, buddy.